When we utter the word meditation, people think it's some kind of an act. Meditation is not an act, meditation is a certain quality. If you prepare your body or if you cultivate your body, your mind, your emotions and your energy to a certain level of maturity and preparedness, you become meditative. It's like the fragrance of a flower. Now the problem in the world is people are interested in the flower, but they're not interested in the plant. If you want flowers in your garden, you don't think about flowers. You think about the root, you think about the manure, you think about the water, you think about the sunlight. Instead of that, if you think about the flower, you will only have plastic flowers in your life. You will not have real flowers. So meditation is a certain fragrance, it's a certain flowering that happens within you, it's a certain quality that you acquire if you cultivate the other four dimensions of life to a certain level of maturity.
Sadhguru, I read in one of your question-answer sessions that you were referring that even meditation is not the thing. Like, I mean, maybe it's a confusion to me. Right? Buddha didn't meditate much, though his followers did. It's just a state of ecstasy which people get into. Is it that? Like, of course, I meditate and get the feeling of bliss and ecstasy, and it remains throughout the day. Is that enough for a spiritual journey? I'm a bit confused.
It's enough incentive. It's only an incentive. Ecstasy is only an incentive. If it's painful, would you do it? No. So you feel blissful and ecstatic, that's only an incentive, that's not the goal. So Buddha was ecstatic? No, Buddha was never ecstatic. Did you ever see him dancing? He just sat like this. That's different. If I ask you to sit like that, would you sit? No. You need some incentive. So, just creating that sweetness in the system is an incentive. And above all, if you are feeling ecstatic within yourself, you become a better human being, isn't it? Aren't you? When you're very happy, aren't you a wonderful human being? Only when you're unhappy, you're a nasty human being, isn't it? Isn't it so? When you're happy, you're a wonderful human being, everybody is, isn't it? So keeping you ecstatic, a dose of ecstasy in the morning, the world is feeling better up. If everybody in Hyderabad started off in an ecstatic way in the morning, Hyderabad would be a wonderful place, isn't it? They start with tension, so it's something else is happening. So ecstasy is not the goal of meditation, it is just an incentive to keep you going, because otherwise you wouldn't go. So what is meditation? The purpose of… if we have to look at the purpose, if you sit in meditation, slowly it will become like this, your body is here, your mind is out there, what is you is somewhere else. Once these three things are happening separately, once there is a space between you and the body, between you and the mind, this is the end of suffering. Once the fear of suffering is taken away, only then you will keep your instinct of self-preservation down, otherwise you won't keep it down. As long as the fear of suffering is there, you will not keep the instinct of self-preservation down. The only reason why you are naturally not spiritual is because you have empowered your instinct of self-preservation too much. All the time it is trying to make you like a bubble in the world, separate bubble, not willing to mix with anything. So unless you keep your instinct of self-preservation down, you will not become spiritual in any way. You will not know life as one happening. You will always be an individual, trapped. Have you noticed even in your general life, when you're very happy, you keep your guards down? Isn't it so? When you're unhappy, fully shielded. When you're happy, little down, isn't it? When you're very happy, it's all down. Have you noticed this? So this is the reason why you're willing to be happy only among certain people. Because you don't know how to be just happy and still know where to stop life when it has to be stopped. You're willing to be happy only with 5 people in your life because you think that is the only safe atmosphere where you can be happy because you have always understood happiness as a certain vulnerability. See, just say you walk on the street and you smile at anybody, they look like this. Why? What's their problem smiling back at you? What are they going to lose? They think if I smile, he may exploit me. How will he exploit you? If he comes to pick your pocket, you can stop him. If he smiles, even a pickpocket smiles at you, why can't you smile at him? What is the problem? Just try today and see, just go out and smile. People who look like this, they're surprised, somebody is making me vulnerable to life. They want to go on the street like rocks, they want to go home and become life. Doesn't work. After some time you become a rock there also. If you want to be life, you must practice it everywhere, isn't it? So, meditation gives you that space between you and your body, between you and your mind. Whatever suffering human beings have known, it has either entered them through the body or through the mind. Do you know any other kind of suffering? There are only 2 kinds of suffering, isn't it? Once you have a distance from these 2 things, this is the end of suffering. Once the fear of suffering is taken away, only then you are willing to venture into other dimensions of life. Otherwise, no matter what I tell you, you're only looking for safety.
If sleep is invading your life just any time of the day, you eat only 24 morsels of food. You will see, in the morning you will wake up at 3:30. To every mouthful, you choose 24 times. You will see food will not cause dullness. Probably you will never fall sick if you eat like that. So, if every time you sit for meditation, if it so happens that you're tending to fall asleep, I want you to understand what it is, first of all. Most people, not most people, a lot of people in the world cannot sleep even when they want to sleep. Yes. A lot of people go to bed and desperately try to sleep and they cannot sleep. They have to pop a pill to sleep. This is the condition of millions and millions of people on the planet. So, if sleep is invading your life just any time of the day, one thing is, fundamental thing is to check up your basic health, just checking, there's something wrong with your system, physically wrong, that you're going through a certain… You have noticed you're not well. When you're not well, you sleep much more than normal, isn't it? Because something is happening in the body which does not allow enough energy to do other things, it wants to rest. First thing is that. The second thing is the food that you eat. So, if you must do, generally for people who are on the yogic path, you know what they say? You should eat only 24 morsels. I'm not saying this to everybody. If you are noticing that you're tending to fall asleep through the day, you eat only 24 morsels of food, that is 24 mouthfuls. Why 24? I will not go into that number business now, but there is a science behind it. You only eat 24 mouthfuls. Mouthful does not mean So essentially, your alertness depends on how keenly you manage your energies. And this is crucial if you want to meditate. Not doing 15-minute shunya. If you want to become meditative in your life process, this alertness not of the mind alone, alertness of your energy, that your energy is alert. To keep it in an alert state is why you're doing the sadhana. So to assist it, you eat only 24 morsels. Try from dinner, or you want to do it tomorrow? Shall we try this dinner or tomorrow? Now, if you do eat only 24 morsels, normal-sized morsels, you will see in the morning you will wake up at 3:30. Yes. In the Indian way of looking at time, there is something called as a nimisha, which has something to do with 24. That's why you eat 24. You eat 24 and still you must take the same time that somebody who's eating a full meal, whoever eats maximum in the ashram, just see their plate till they get up. You must be sitting right there. Not simply sitting, you must chew. To every mouthful, you choose 24 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, chew it 24 times. Now you will see, you will take more time than anybody else, but your food is pre-digested in your mouth before it goes in. It will not cause dullness. If you chew your food sufficiently, you will see food will not cause dullness if it is masticated in the mouth region. Then morning you will wake up at 3:30. What do I do, Sadhguru? Just what you asked, meditate. You'll feel hungry at 3 o'clock, 3:30, you're up, drink one glass of water and sit. If you feel drowsy, even with water, it's all right, still there's time for 5:30, you can doze a bit. Or when you wake up, first thing you finish your toilet and stuff, have a shower, leave your hair wet, you will survive till 8 o'clock in the sadhana time without sleeping. And tomorrow's morning meal also, if you eat 24, no way you're going to sleep till dinner time. Chew it well. If you chew it well, the digestive process, 1.5, 2 hours you'll be hungry, and that's a way to stay. Hunger does not mean you have to… If stomach is empty, does not mean you have to put food, you just have to put water. And you will stay alert, you will be very energetic, you will not lose any weight because your system will learn to use the food that you've eaten well rather than simply wasting it. It's both economically and ecologically very good for the world and very good for your health. Probably you'll never fall sick if you eat like that. So 24 morsels of food, you must chew 24 times each morsel. Fully must become like paste before you eat it. You will see you will do wonderfully well, you can meditate.
The inside has become total vacuum, so the doorway gets sucked in. Another way of opening the third eye is you contain everything inside. The first way of doing is the best way of doing. most significant aspect of Shiva is that he opened his third eye. All the other things, he danced, he meditated, married twice, did so many things, that's not the thing. He opened his third eye. It's only for that we remember him even today. For that, even today, after thousands of years, we still bow down to him. Because there is no substitute for knowing. There is no substitute for knowing means. And there is no way to know unless your perception goes beyond your present levels of perception. Unless your ability to see is enhanced beyond its present limitations, there is no way to know. To know is to be free. So, Shiva is significant for us not because he's wrecked in Himalayas, not because he played with snakes, not because of this or that, because he opened his third eye. He perceived what most human beings fail to perceive. What is unseen for a large segment of humanity became a normal part of his vision. That's what third eye means. So people say, when Shiva opened his third eye, it was a fiery process, fire came out of it. Why they're saying fire is because within himself, he burnt everything that he thought mattered to him. He became like a fire chamber, like a kiln, that within himself he burnt everything that can be burnt. And then from every pore of his body, instead of sweat and blood coming, ash came out. Why? Shiva is always depicted as ash smeared. He didn't go about smearing ash. Ash came out of his pores. This is to indicate that he has burnt it all. He has burnt every shred of ignorance, everything that one believes as true, he burnt. Because he burned everything and everything became ash, then this opening of the third eye could not be denied to him. When it opened, people saw fire because the inner chamber was burning. There are two ways of opening the eye. One way is the inside has become total vacuum, so the doorway gets sucked in and naturally has to open. The doorway becomes limp and falls inward because there is nothing. He simply burnt not only his thought, not only his emotion, not just his relationships and possessions, he's just burnt his very being. The individual being is completely burnt out and there's a total vacuum, so the door fell inward and it's open. So people saw fire because it was burning still. Another way of opening the third eye is you contain everything inside. Everything is contained. You did not find any expression for your thought, any expression for your emotion, any expression for anything. You could not even utter a word. See, if you remain silent for 4 days, on the 5th day, you feel like singing suddenly. If you don't know how to sing, you want to howl like a wolf, huh? Because you want to let go. You didn't let go anything, so much pressure built up, and this door got knocked open from inside. This is another way to do it. The first way of doing is the best way of doing, because if you open it by building pressure, it opens up today and again tomorrow it may just shut itself. Or before enough pressure builds up and this opens, something else freaks in you and you run away, yes. Because the pressure builds up in such a way, if you have to hold it, you need… because you don't know what's happening, it looks like torture. It looks like 7th degree torture. If you're putting yourself through the whole process, then definitely your mind will ask, what is the point of going through this torture? Because it's a lot of torture. Not letting a single thought find expression, not letting a single emotion find expression, not uttering a single word, not finding expression to a single opinion that arises in your mind, single idea that arises in your mind. Oh, it'll burst you somewhere. If you hold everything intact, this will open, otherwise something else will freak. But you are a little… you're diplomatic. You believe in the middle path. That means you don't wish to get anywhere. People who believe in the middle path, they're determined not to get anywhere in their life. Middle path means just your comfort zone. Neither this nor that. Either you become empty, the sheer power of vacuum will open it, or you build up pressure in you, it'll burst open. Two ways of opening. Middle path means you are a professional bullshitter, really. Full-time bullshitter you are, not professional. Profession means they do it only part-time, right? They do it only certain times of the day. It doesn't matter where you go, you do your own stuff. Middle path. Middle path is a way of not getting anywhere, and after some time thinking, this doesn't go anywhere. Right now you're walking on the street, suddenly you found a big rock, there are only two ways to go, either this way or this way. This way a tiger is growling, this way there's fire burning. You think the best thing is middle path, that is to go into the rock. Obviously this is not going to go anywhere. This will give you good exercise for some time. If you try to go into the rock, it's a good exercise, really, it'll build a lot of good muscle if you take the middle path. It's just that you don't go anywhere. There are no subtractions and divisions in our mind. There is only addition and multiplication. I will just remove negative thoughts and I will have positive thoughts. All the best, it's not going to work. It's just that you need to pay little attention as to how it functions. You will see there is a distinction between what is you and what you have gathered. Well, see the way the question is asked and also the way normally it's addressed is, people think there is something called as negative thought and positive thought. They want to remove the negative thoughts and have only positive thoughts. For such people, I would ask them to just experiment for 10-15 seconds. let them forcefully remove one thought from their mind. For example, next 10 seconds, just don't think of a monkey. Try not to think of a monkey for next 10 seconds. You will see you will be full of monkeys. So what I'm saying is, this is the nature of your mind, because in this mind, all the three pedals are throttle. There is no brake, there is no clutch. Whatever you touch, it will only go faster. In this kind of mind, people have been taught from moral teachers and religious teachers, do not think about bad things. Well, since then it's been a full-time job. So there is no way you can handle the mind like this. This doesn't need any great enlightenment. If you spend 2 minutes with your eyes closed, you will realize you cannot do anything forcefully with this mind. So, I want to remove negative thoughts. Do not ever go in this direction, because what you want to remove will become your quality. Always you will be on it. So what should I do? The thing is this, without understanding the fundamental mechanism of this mind, because our mind, human mind, is the most sophisticated computer on the planet. Even all the supercomputers have come out of this. When this is the case, is it not important that we understand the mechanics of how it functions? One simplistic aspect of how it functions is, there are no subtractions and divisions in our mind. There is only addition and multiplication. If you try to do something with it, it will say one more. If you try hard, it will multiply into many more. In this mind, you don't try to identify what is positive, what is negative and try to remove it. First of all, one needs to understand, this mind of yours, this body of yours is supposed to serve you. The life that you are is important. Body and mind are vehicles that must serve us. If you sit in a vehicle, it must go where you want to go. If it goes to its own destination, what is the point of such a vehicle? It's just a nuisance. Right now, most human beings are unfortunately experiencing this fantastic possibility of human mind as a nuisance, as a troublesome thing. Well, this is the most beautiful thing you have. It's just that you need to pay little attention as to how it functions. One simple thing is this. First and foremost process is, that's why we put out this process called Isha Kriya. This is to distance yourself from your physiological and psychological process. There is something called as you which exists. This is not a composite of all your thoughts and emotions and physiological processes. Beyond that, there is you. If you close your eyes, even if you cannot see anything, you're still there. It is through the window of your eyes that you're looking out, but if you close your eyes, it doesn't mean that you don't exist, you still exist. So beyond your thought, you still exist, beyond your emotion, you still exist. So that you, the life that you are, this has to come into your experience. Why is it that you're not allowing that to come into your experience, which is the most significant aspect of who you are? Who you are right now, the most significant aspect is, you and me are alive right now, this is it. What I'm thinking, what you're thinking is not the important thing. We are alive right now, that is the important thing. So, it is important that you focus on this fundamental sense of aliveness within you, and then you will see there is a natural distance between you and your thought process. Once there is a distance between your psychological process and your physiological process, this is the end of suffering. Because there are only two kinds of suffering that human beings go through, physical suffering and mental suffering. Once you create a little space between you and your mind, between you and your body, this is the end of suffering. This is something every human being has to experience and know, otherwise thinking I will just remove negative thoughts and I will have positive thoughts, all the best, it's not going to work 100%, it's not going to work, because nobody can remove it, they can avoid it for some time. So when negative thoughts come, you say Ram Ram, Shiva Shiva, whatever you want, but this is just avoiding, it's not gone. The moment you stop that, it will pop back with great force, otherwise it'll come back in your dreams. So it's very important, first of all you need to understand your anger, your resentment, your fear, your anxieties, the negativity that you generate. Generally resentment, anger, it is always directed towards somebody. But we need to understand this is poisons that we are drinking and expecting somebody else to die. Fortunately, life doesn't work like that. If I drink poison, I die. If I drink poison, you don't die. So, we need to understand this. When I say poison, today you can have yourself chemically analyzed. Right now, what is your blood work, what it says? 5 minutes of intense anger, check your blood work and see, there will be lots of negative elements in it, literally you're poisoning yourself. So, do you want to poison yourself? Definitely not. Now the very question is coming from certain helplessness, what shall I do? Don't do anything, just sit back and just concern yourself with something which is a life process. Maybe your heartbeat, maybe your breath, maybe just the sensation of being alive. Depending upon how sensitive or how perceptive you are, accordingly, find something. It could be a sensation in the body, it could be breath, it could be heartbeat, it could be anything, something which indicates life to you. Just pay attention to that for some time. Slowly you will see there is a distinction between what is you and what you have gathered, which includes both your physiological and psychological possibility or mess, whatever you made out of it.